What is up, everybody, and welcome to The List, where I take plays from the Denver Nuggets that I find interesting and share them with you. Today we're looking at Game 3 of the NBA Finals, and we're going to start at one of the main adjustments that we talked about on the list for the last game, which is just staying home against Jimmy Butler, in particular when he's being guarded by Aaron Gordon. Even with Jamal Murray, you're going to see some pick and roll here. And just look at the guys on the weak side here guarding the shooters. They're not crowding the paint like they were. They're a step closer to the guys, and they're allowing the attack to happen, trusting that, one, their defense can get stops, forcing Jokic to play, contest at the rim. I thought this was one of Jokic's best, if not the best, defensive game of the entire playoffs. But trusting Jokic to say, hey, do your best in there, let the on-ball guys recover, but also just trusting that your offense is going to beat any type of attacks from inside the paint as long as you're not fouling. And then on top of that, anytime a guard attacks and falls down, the transition opportunities are huge the other way. So Denver, I thought, did a great job. This is only one clip, but they did a great job all game of forcing Jimmy to drive to the basket like that. And then the second thing that I thought was huge was just Murray's deliveries to Jokic in the pick and roll. All game, I thought he was on point. In game one, he really struggled with this. I talked about how Jimmy Butler is really trying to play the angle here and take this away. Murray got creative. You see a little stop on a dime right there to get it to Jokic. All game, I just thought he had very creative passes to him. Even on here, you see he navigates that pick and roll extremely well. Look how crowded the paint is for this. It might look easy, but look at the angle. Attack, back, attack. And then he finds the little pocket to get to Jokic. And you're right now with Christian Braun, Jeff Green, Bruce Brown. This is your worst spacing trio around the duo, and that's why it's crowded. But again, Jokic and Murray just know what to do in those moments. Doesn't matter how crowded it is, they're making buckets. And I just clipped a few examples to try to share, but this was really all game. Just the delivery passes. I mean, look at the angle of that pass. If we slow it down and look at him here, I mean, this is tough defense, and he contorts his body to be able to make that angled pass. Jokic knows what to do with it from there. It's automatic. So obviously one of the huge keys for the Nuggets in general is just being able to play back and forth between Jokic and Murray. Game two, a lot more obvious that they were successful with that. And then Murray just in pick and roll in general, early on, look how he reads Bam. He just keeps his dribble alive, stays balanced. You've got the chase coming. Usually Bam, you're asking, is he going to step up? What's Butler going to do? He plays it, that little stunt, and then into his shot, makes Butler veer back to take Jokic to rebound, but before Bam can fully commit. It's just a great reading of pick and roll. Nice feathery shot. He did this all game. I mean, his reads were so much better in pick and roll on this one. And then again, a little hesitation. Boom, froze him, gets to the lane. Bam's a heck of a defender, but I thought Murray had him guessing all game. And then this was a big one. Murray just dragged traps. With Bam Adebayo, you see a lot of these, they're trying to put two on ball. He does a great job of dragging him all the way around. And what's funny is Denver actually didn't capitalize on a lot of these different possessions when they trap. Miami tries to mix up their coverages. This is just one of them. I thought Murray did the right thing on all of these. You see, you're going to jump out at it. All right, drag it, make the easy read. And from here, you've got two guys you dragged all the way to the logo. You're playing 4-on-3 downhill. You get it to Jokic inside. I mean, this is a 9 out of 10 times he makes this one. Jokic happened to miss this one, but I think you actually should be encouraged if you're Denver by the fact that Miami wants to run that coverage, and Denver didn't capitalize on it in Game 3 and still won comfortably. But clearly they got good looks out of it. Trap, drag it all the way to the logo. I mean, this is heaven for Jokic. 4-on-3. Michael Porter in the corner. I mean, this is a 50% shot. And he just missed it. Those are going to be open, I think, here. If they continue to run this type of coverage, they're going to continue to get great looks. Trap, drag them out. Finally, in the fourth quarter, you get it. Now, I'm showing most of these. I might have missed one or two. And I will say, Murray wasn't perfect in this. This is fourth quarter. He's probably a little bit more worn down. And he did get surprised on this one. You could just see that he gets himself into the corner, jumps to pass, and then gets a turnover here that leads to a steal. But for the most part, he was dialed in, and I think Denver got good looks out of it. Murray also, whenever you put Gabe Vincent on him, I mean, he's like, this is automatic. He knows, again, he didn't hit these ones, but anytime Gabe Vincent's on him, he just knows he's going to be able to get to that shot, and it's a good one for Denver. couple more. Max Strus, same thing. You know Zeller's not going to fully step up, or else you have Jokic for offensive rebounds or for drop-offs. So you just know you can get to this spot and get what's essentially an uncontested elbow jumper. And he had a handful of these in the game 3, and he missed them. But the more reps he gets, the more he knows, like, okay, this guy's guarding me. I know exactly. So much in basketball, it's like, do you know where your shot's coming from? If the answer is yes, like it is whenever those guys are guarding him, it's easier to make. And then, of course, in the clutch, forget anything that happens earlier in the game. You get to the Jokic Murray 2-man game with 6 minutes to go, and you just know you're going to be getting good looks. First one, turn the corner, pull up. But you know, in his head, he's thinking, okay, they just ran 2 at me on that one. So what am I going to do the next time? Let's come down and run the same action, same spots. Oh, let's see if we get it here. Both jump out. Oh, man, did I clip the same video twice? I might have. He had 2 of these. On the other one, he gets a throwback to Jokic, and Jokic attacks from it. In the last edition of the list, I talked about the screen-the-screener action and how Denver was running it. What I loved, I actually said that they should switch. This was, I believe, Jokic, and this was Aaron Gordon. I said they should switch these 2. What they actually did was switch Murray and Jokic. So Jokic is the one that sets the initial screen, and then he's the one that comes off the pin down. And what I love about it is same play, but different look, and just puts them in a different bind. And they ran it 2 times and got great looks out of both of it. I suspect in game 4, they're going to mix it up even again, run the same action, but with people in even different spots. And this one flowed nicely into a 4-5 pick and roll. Another thing that I've talked about them doing a better job at. When Kevin Love's on the court, this action should be open. And for this reason, you run that action and you get the switch. And if Jokic gets Kevin Love on him, he'll just do a little sombor. It's just too easy for him. So Denver, again, it's always nice when some of their go-to actions work in every game, even when they just change little details. At practice, Jokic was asked about Christian Braun's cutting, and he gave a really great answer.
Yes, it's just aggressive movement. You know, when he cut, he's aggressive. He's going to take one defender is going to take him. That's going to open a lot of space.
Nothing players like Jokic like more than a guy that cuts hard and with purpose, because it makes it easier for it's like he's the quarterback. When you know he's just going to cut hard and go through, it makes everything easier to read, and it opens up things for other people. Christian Braun is just the tip of the iceberg with how good of a fit he's going to be next to Jokic going forward. And then we talk about him becoming a better shooter. I think he's going to put a lot of time in the offseason to becoming that. But these plays, drive and dish to Jokic, I mean, this is a part of his game that I'm very excited for him to develop in the coming years, because it is just a perfect fit next to Jokic. You're going to see it again in this little zone. Jokic's trying to get behind the defense. But if you can attack closeouts like this, and he knows he doesn't have to get to the basket, he just needs to wall off the help. Jokic will do the rest. Gets fouled. Christian Braun setting it up. And then, of course, the one we all remember. Good defense by Jokic. Let's go the other direction. Christian, what do you want to do? I'll just attack Jimmy Butler. I'm feeling it. His future's bright with plays like that. And then I love this one, too, because it shows an IQ here. We're doing zone. We're attacking zone. Actually, no, we're in man-to-man. We're running a little AI Knicks, which is usually a Jokic ISO play. Gets him down. And what I love is look at Christian Braun immediately reads the floor balance. So if you're going to see him, he's telling Jokic, hey, swing it. Bruce actually doesn't read it. If you just think about the floor, what I love about Christian seeing this is he's saying, if you swing it, I'm going to pin this guy and we're going to have an open shot in the corner. Bruce decides to slash instead and gets kind of a wild one. But I love that Christian Braun's on the backside reading it, even that instance, even quicker than Jokic. And then just championship D from the young fellow. Oops. Championship D from both Jokic and Christian Braun. Watch him here fight. Duncan Robinson, hard guy to stay connected to. First of all, we already missed one key detail. I love the way he turns his body. So he goes from I'm behind him to watch he turns, I'm playing chase. Contests. Got to contest again. Get skinny, contest. And then Jokic doesn't quit on the play, gets a block. That's how you win a championship with plays like that. Fourth quarter, you don't want to blow a lead. They were dialed in. Speaking of being dialed in, I love that AG doesn't quit on plays in this one. I mean, really, half the difference between Game 2 and Game 3 is Denver gave championship effort. And here what I love, they got the mix-up you want. Gabe Vincent here. And look, he goes down, But I just love how quickly he gets back up. Most guys go down and they just try to sell it. The ref either calls it or doesn't. But the pass is already in the air, and look how quickly he recovers to get up and say, you know what, let's just make this something, gets fouled. That's the type of quit you need at this level. Same thing goes for Michael Porter Jr.'s offensive rebound. Third quarter, I thought in the first half Michael Porter played a little bit on his heels. In the second half, just make an extra effort. Crashes the board, gets it again, goes up, maybe gets fouled, but you know what? It leads to a second chance point. Michael Porter, he's not just a shooter. He can do these types of things, and he did them in this game in the second half. I don't think he did in the first half, but in the second half he did, and it made a huge difference. And then, of course, the zone. How is Denver going to beat it? I actually think Denver's gotten good looks. They had been putting him up more towards the foul line, battling with guys. They actually did that in this game as well. But this zone, which kind of looks like a 1-3-1, just because they're using Bam as the guy to patrol the entire paint, and they're bringing these guys up high on the court. Usually you're battling here, but I love how Jokic just slips into the opening of the zone, and then it's broken here. Christian Braun, cut with aggression. Get a dunk. Take a look at another example here against the zone. Jimmy Butler going to wrestle you? No, I'll just get low. Look, he's pointing here. Got him. Layup. Again, Jokic just getting behind the defense this time. And now Zeller is essentially in a spot where he has to be on two guys. Walk him up. Means you're really walking Kyle Lowry up. Get it to Jokic. And now it's double cut. Jeff along the baseline, Christian Braun. As soon as he catches it, both guys go. And that's why I love it. Jokic just so quickly. He catches it. One guy on the backside. By the way, they run the zone because of Duncan Robinson. But as Jeff cuts and he cuts, they have to pick one. Jokic just knows, which one's he going to take? Is he going to take down low? Then I'll go to Christian Braun. Perfect. One thing Brown didn't read well, this little rub action. Anytime he's got Max Strus on him, the play needs to be for him to kind of get the rub action. So they're running a typical step up here. Sometimes you run around and get a handoff, but you can see Murray is pointing dude, if you just screen for me, I'm going to get Duncan Robinson, the worst defender. I'm going to get him switched on to me. He doesn't read it in time and ends up allowing them to kind of run this trap at him. And it turns into still a bucket. So what do you know? Or a foul. Oh, no, it should have been a bucket. AG left some points on the board in this one. But it's just one of those things where Christian Braun can know the default. This is where you start to think the game. I have Robinson on me. If I screen, they're probably going to get a switch or a trap that leads to a 4-on-3. Underrated how good Aaron Gordon is. So he contests a three-pointer. They don't get it, so it's a mismatch in transition. He's got Kyle Lowry on him, who's actually a pretty stout post defender. First of all, I love that Aaron Gordon doesn't wait. Catch and go. Spin back big. And then Jimmy Butler has two. Same situation. One dives, one spots. Jimmy Butler sees the kick out. Aaron Gordon audibles midair. Watch this again. Looks like he's going to kick out. Just leaves a gentle little pass for Christian Braun. Christian Braun, again, cutting with aggression. Gotta love it. Michael Porter's length on defense. I actually think Jimmy Butler loves to hunt mismatches, and I think he's not sure who his favorite mismatch is. He tried, in Game 2, he had success against Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's defense wasn't there. I thought in Game 3, his defense was a lot better one-on-one on Jimmy Butler. Aaron Gordon's obviously doing a phenomenal job on him. I think KCP might actually be the easiest matchup for him. But there were a few times he tried Michael Porter, and Porter just does a great job of using his length. It really impacts Jimmy on these plays, and I think it's a big credit to Michael Porter. He did still have a couple mess-ups here, and I'm going to point them out. Box out. You've got Max Strus on you. He gets a second chance opportunity just from pure hustle. This is early in the game. First 4 minutes. You shouldn't be getting beat on these, and they're costly. Miami's not a good enough offensive team to keep up with Denver unless you give them multiple possessions. And, of course, this one is costly. And then what do we got on this one? Michael Porter in the corner just gets beat backdoor. Just falling asleep, and, of course, it turns into Jokic getting postered by Bam, and the entire crowd gets picked up. These plays are costly. Heat this guy screen so well. I've pointed this out, but I thought this one was great. Keep an eye on Max Strus. So we get a little ram screen, down screen, into a ball screen, flips it to this side, then slips it. So if you just think about all the little subtle things that have to happen, Murray's thinking, okay, fight around this, ball screen coming, I'm going to switch this way. But then he runs that way, and actually Bruce is the one that screwed it up. Murray's trying to call it out. Jokic has to step up. Denver survives on that one, but still, it just shows you that The Miami Heat, you have to sometimes call out 2-3 different switches, directions of switch, and everything else. And then lastly, this was one of my favorite sequences. Nuggets up 13. They're starting to pull away with it. Jimmy Butler senses it, and he gets a three. He doesn't make a lot of them, but he seems to always make the big ones. But what I love is Jokic understands the moment. Okay, their guy just made a big three to try to stop momentum. I'm open. Why don't I just answer with a three of my own? Boom, back up to 13. That's what superstars do. They know the moment. Really fun game between the Nuggets and Heat in Game 3. Denver seems to have figured a lot of things out. Miami, I'm sure, will try to confuse them more by coming up with new counters in Game 4. But what I saw from Denver in Game 3, they were locked into the game plan, locked into the adjustments, and it seems like they can adjust on the fly themselves. We'll check out what happens on Friday in Game 4.